Nathan from the Hole in the Wall Cafe has agreed to tell us a few secret things. So Nathan, I'm very excited. This is amazing new space that you have. Actually, not so new. And tell us what you were just mentioning about the secret ingredients.
Secret. Well, we secretly make them. They're ingredients that are well known, but we secretly make them in our own kitchens. So we make over 50 or 60 different things. So we make marinades, we make sauces, we do spice powders, we do our own syrups, we do our own like our own barbecue sauce, our own southwest sauce. We do a lot of compositions in terms of things that we make in the kitchen that we could replicate in, say, a different outlet. So I have 3 other outlets also.
Yeah, you've expanded a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants
I was
a
so
piece of it,
surprised you now have also rooms to let out, which wasn't there.
Wasn't there. We just thought that they probably complement each other.
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so that, I mean, we felt that we could juggle that line of work along with this line of work.
I think it
without them
goes.
being too different. People go out, have a great time, and then they stay the weekend here, and then they can
Yeah.
come down in the morning for a nice
Exactly.
greasy breakfast, and then
And then go home,
have
right?
a chill. Yeah.
Do you sell these sauces?
We were retailing them.
Okay.
During COVID, we were selling pasta sauces, basil pesto, bacon jam. We were doing a whole lot of things, and just to keep ourselves busy, most importantly. And second was we had to keep paying the bills, so
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had to
yeah.
make ends meet. So we were doing that. We were making it available, and we were giving people like ravioli and stuff that they could make themselves at home. So we were marketing that as well. Jams. And, the creative side and the passionate side wants to do it. But the
But-
physical side is saying
You can't do it. So many
yeah,
things.
cool down, tiger. Yeah.
I found your story very fascinating about how you and Lynn used to chat together about how you will start your own restaurant, and you actually did
Yeah.
out of a garage.
I know.
What was the moment that clicked for you when you thought that, hey, we are not just trying, this is actually happening?
Well, I think we were playing around with the idea of it. We obviously had spoken about it 1,000 times. When it really came together was when the space became available.
Okay.
I think when we had to make that decision of whether we wanted to take the space and start doing something about it, I think the reality then hit that, okay, it's happening.
Did you quit your jobs then, or were you
No,
doing
so
it on the
she
side?
quit her job. She quit
Okay.
her job because one of us had to hold forth, and she's obviously the food brains. It's
Seriously?
The truth. It's the truth.
It's
the
the
truth.
truth.
It's
Okay.
that cooking is her life.
Huh.
She loves food. She's immersed heavily in it. And I'm just more the admin and the slave
Got it.
driving guy and
Got it.
I'm the HR
So
guy.
clear demarcation of roles.
Oh yeah, you have to do that. So yeah, so note to everyone that wants to work with their wife on a daily basis, please draw the lines. Have
Is
boundaries.
it easy or difficult
I think initially it's tough.
initially?
It's tough. Like
Now
I said,
you have a
we've,
rhythm.
we've been doing this together now for 16 years. So
Yeah.
I think we've eventually evolved into our own little territories where I will step into hers and she,
So you're HR and admin.
yeah, pretty much.
finance.
And finance.
Oh.
Yeah, she gets to handle all the fun stuff.
How do you know that?
I don't know. It looks fun from my side of the fence. I wonder what she thinks about. I know she thinks mine is boring as hell.
I mean, she wouldn't want to do your thing.
No, she wouldn't want to do my job.
I have to ask you about the decor because that's very interesting. It has little pieces which look very, very curated from all over the world. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got these together? The
Yeah,
painting,
so,
the art.
I wouldn't say scrap dealers, I think it was scrap collectors. We just love rummaging in scrap yards, in antique shops,
Yeah.
in old houses, in sales, backyard sales, and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of that. We love doing that stuff.
It
We
has
love
a retro
old
pop
stuff.
feel to it, right?
Yeah. According to us, the logic behind it was everyone is trying to progress futuristically. So everyone wants the latest, the most modern, the hippest, the trendiest looking kind of things. We kind of enjoyed the old school stuff. We wanted to go the other way. Go older and older, go 80s, go 70s, go 60s.
I get that feel with the board and all of that.
So that was the challenging part of moving into our own building. When we were designing it was the easier thing comparatively.
Did you work with a designer or
Yes,
an
yes.
interior?
So the thing was, like, from 16 years ago, we knew exactly what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. Everything just came together because we had a fairly good idea where we wanted to go. We were kind of shooting in the dark, but that's because we didn't come from a
Yeah.
hospitality background. But I think what we were very clear about was the feel of the place, what we wanted to be known for. Stepped away from doing anything modern. So for the longest amount of time, probably about 11 years, I forbid any of the staff to use any technology to record orders, to take orders.
But now you can,
It had to be
right?
pen and paper.
Yeah, but now you can.
Now we can. Now we have. Now they all have phones, and it's a curse. We still have not put any TV screens anywhere.
Right.
So we don't want to look modern. We
Yeah.
don't want even the little consoles that we have where we have to punch orders and do billing related stuff. It's tucked away somewhere. It's not very evident from where you're sitting. So we had to do it because the sheer volume of what we're doing also, it's not practical anymore to do it manually. So what we did was we went the other way. Like we were having couples come in the cafe and they were sitting and talking to. There was no talking.
I know. I find it very weird. People are looking into their phones or their tablets or doing
So
some.
they're looking at their phones.
Correct.
When the food comes, then the little bit of panic then, and the screens are changed, and then they, back in the day where people used to say grace before they eat food.
Right.
Now people take photographs.
I do too. I'm so sorry.
That's just how it is.
Very
but that's how it's
wannabe
changed. That's how it's
millennial
changed.
thing.
Like you were saying, when the food came, everything, when you were small, everything, okay, then you can eat. Without saying that you couldn't eat, right? Now it's like, so the couples are first of all on their phones, and then after that they take pictures of the phone. And then it's like the phone's in one hand, and then again they're eating. And,
That is very strange for me.
yeah, and then suddenly, I don't know, when something interesting happens on the phone, that's the only time when
They are
when
interacting
actually
with
look at each other's
each
faces and when
other.
they are soliciting like this.
I understood that.
Have kids
Right.
and all that. It's frustrating for them to that. Their hands
How old are your
itching.
kids?
They're 15. So I have twin girls, 15-year-old, and I have a 7-year-old. So they're twitching.
Tough time.
It's not so bad, no.
Tough time.
It's tough for them because they're always looking to, connect with something. They want the TV on, or they
Right,
want
right.
one of them wants a phone. I mean, I can see them pining for it, but what we do here is we wanted people to talk to each other. We wanted them to have a conversation. That
Sure.
probably might be the only time in the day that they actually have a conversation before they get caught up with everything else.
Getting a meal together for many families during the day, a quiet time, that itself is rare.
Yeah, that's right. The best kind of groups that we entertain here are the ones where there's absolutely no phones on the table.
I'm sorry about
Everyone's there. That's okay. They're having such a great time. There's so much laughter. They're noisiest. They're having such a great
Yeah.
time. And I always watch and observe. Not one of them is on their phones.
That is
Not
important.
one of them's on their phones.
That's important.
You know?
I think your place is more suited for friends and family connecting, right? Rather than work meetings.
Yes.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, yes. I think
It is.
we get a lot of people, a lot of family groups happening in Sydney and all these other places where it's mandatory for people to put all their phones
In a
in the phone bin, and then only will they
Yeah.
process their order.
that seems very draconian.
It seems a little extreme also.
Yeah.
But there are restaurants doing it.
There are restaurants,
Yeah.
and there are restaurants which don't allow pets.
We
So,
love all of them.
has there been any moment or time that has been so scary that you thought I might have to shut down
I think the closest we came is probably during COVID.
during COVID, right?
Probably during COVID. That what if? Because there's a whole lot of rules, and nobody had any clarity in terms
People were
of
leaving.
when is this coming to an end. Like,
Yeah.
kids couldn't go to school. Hospitals were clogged. It just felt
Thank
like a
God
very
that went
uncertain
through.
time, where whoever thought something like that extreme would happen. Mentally, we were thinking, okay, what's the worst case scenario if we have to let go of these employees and we were in a rented place, we had to continue paying rent as well, right? So, what if we couldn't do that? And so I guess we probably entertained a few of those thoughts, but then I think on the ground, and I think we were pretty faithful that way.
This is the one that you own?
Yes.
Okay. So big step for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. We just thought we should reward ourselves after that. At that point, it was
Yeah.
what, 13 years or something. We just
Of
said, "Hey,
course. It's a big milestone, right?
exactly. I mean, and I think, like your previous question also, where you were saying, have you come close to deciding to shut it down?
Right,
So
right.
I think part of that question also still lingers. But we said, what if we were to stop doing the restaurant? What would we do with ourselves?
What would you do?
Because 16 years is a very, very long time
Right.
in this line of work. You don't see a lot of people lasting that long.
No, we don't.
Just the appetite to keep doing it. It's a hard
The
business.
passion,
It's
yeah.
a hard business. First one in, last one out. You have, it's long hours.
What kind of hours do you keep? I'm just asking. So that kids.
That's the only the sour point I have with this line of work is that I just don't get to spend enough time
With your
the kids.
kids.
Yeah, with the kids. They're 15 now. I've lost a lot of time, but somebody had to do it because you can't have the
Yeah.
best of both worlds. Not in this line. When people are on holiday, you're working. When you're not working, people are back to work. So socially, your calendar doesn't match. So my kids literally grew up in the restaurant.
Restaurant,
They had the space like this. They'd probably be like sleeping here in the afternoon till their parents are ready to take them home.
Right,
You know,
right.
That's how it worked for
Yeah.
us. As the years rolled on, it became a little easier in terms of separating time for them and separating time. So when Lynn and I started doing this, we were literally, our house kitchen was the restaurant kitchen. We were doing a lot of the back-end production stuff of roasting and marinades and all that sauces in our home.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we have a full-fledged central kitchen right on
This
top
one.
in this
On-
building.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people do you employ here?
Here, close to 40.
All over.
No. This outlet
Just
is
this
40,
outlet.
and the other two outlets maybe about between 15 and 20 each outlet. 15 to 20. Yeah, even Hyderabad also around 15 people. I think as you get older, you kind of want to do less.
Less.
Not more.
You want to do less and you want to do better, right?
Yeah.
That you have team meetings and stuff. And,
We do. Here, yeah, we have to. We have to. There's always like something for me to complain about, something for me to rap them on the knuckles about.
To read. You don't have the
I
time.
used to. My kids do it a lot now. So they give me a whole lot of these big book reviews, and I take them over to bookstores. But because of my working hours, the freshest memory of something is probably Audacity of all.
Okay.
Probably. But there's been a lot more before that.
Yeah, but
And
it's
only
like
here also because
recency.
I'm like, I love politics. I love reading about politics. I love to read everything that goes in the background of it.
I've traveled to quite a few places.
Yes, we have traveled. So if you see on the walls there, you will see a lot of souvenir plates. So wherever Lynn and I would travel, we would try and pick up a plate. Mainly because we wanted an entire wall of just souvenir plates, and there's one
Yeah.
down there at the cash counter. So we just wanted to fill the whole wall with the different souvenir plates. Nobody had done that. Nobody was doing that. So we just thought, it's there in our house.
What's your favorite destinations from all of the travels that
I
you
without blinking Vietnam.
Other
I think
than-
the best place we have been to is Phu Quoc.
Okay.
But I love the markets of Ho Chi Minh. Halong Bay we went. Halong, I didn't like Da Nang. Da Nang was very commercial,
Very
touristy
commercial,
and everything. But some spots that we found this island called Cat Ba, which is off the coast from the Halong Bay area. And what we liked about Cat Ba was we just loved the food, and there's just so many family-run little restaurants with live seafood all in the front, and you just go pick up whatever you want. Because in the afternoon they shut the restaurant because the whole family gets together. They all sit on a big table and they all eat, and there's a lot of chatter and everything else. And somehow or the other, we've always kind of come too close to that time, their own personal time, and ended up joining them in their family, drinking the family hooch and everything else. And
And
Super.
there's another strange thing. You don't understand their language sometimes. But they are so
Friendly,
and
Yeah.
they're just so welcoming that you don't feel out of place, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
I got it wrong though.
Why?
When we went to Phuket, so from Ho Chi Minh we went to Phuket. I thought it was this little, really nice because we read one of the chefs here from Bangalore had gone there and he cooked on the beach and he had really good. And we said, oh, it sounds like an interesting place, let's just go. And most importantly, we're not going to see a lot of tourists because at that
Right.
time, and I'm talking about like 8 years ago, but it was pristine, it was lovely, it was like so nice, the food was great, the beaches were clean, the resorts were like bang on the beach, it was like
Must have
20
gone at
meters
the
away
right
from the
time.
water.
Things
Oh,
have changed now.
now it has changed.
Yeah.
Now if somebody went the other week,
Correct.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, like, what?
Super
They were
crowded.
showing pictures like, what? This wasn't there when I went. I said, no, the amusement parks and all of it. Like, oh my god, why did they do that? Now it's just more about the quest of trying to find these isolated places that people haven't heard of. And I think Instagram has kind of just ruined it for so many people.
Yeah.
Where this hidden gem nonsense keeps going on. Every
Yeah,
time I
yeah.
hear that hidden gem thing, I want to throw the phone. No, but I still love Vietnam. If I was to choose a place to go, that's my place.